Yo guys, how's it going? Let's have a fast tutorial. Okay, so in this tutorial I want to talk about Cursor IDE and why it's a good idea to use it at least for once. So actually right now I don't use VS Code anymore. I use Cursor IDE, and there are tons of reasons out there why I'm using this IDE. So first of all, I want to explain why. So this Cursor IDE is integrated with the AI. So imagine that you have ChatGPT 4 and you're just developing certain application, and sometimes you need to ask from your ChatGPT 4 giving some code or giving your entire project code base, and then try to say, okay, based on this code do that, or based on that code do that, or whatever. But in this case you have to give your whole code base to ChatGPT 4, so ChatGPT 4 needs to read whole the code and then give it to you. And every time when you want the ChatGPT to understand about whole of the code base of your project, you need to copy paste whole of your project. And then imagine that, just imagine that this is the project. Okay, I have to copy paste whole of this code and say to ChatGPT, explain to ChatGPT, okay, I have this file, I have this file, this file, this file, this file, this file, and so on, and giving whole the code base to ChatGPT and say, okay, based on this project, try to do this for me or do that for me or whatever. In this case you have to copy paste. It takes a lot of time to copy paste all of this code, but right now Cursor IDE just come right now. So what is that it can do? So one of the things which is really helpful, at least for me, is that you can integrate it. Cursor IDE integrate with the AI inside itself, and then it can just get whole of the feature of your VS Code and then install it on itself in a way that you're not gonna understand that it's Cursor IDE and it's not VS Code. It's gonna be same as VS Code completely, with whole of the extension and everything which you already installed in your VS Code. So just by installing Cursor IDE, you will have a copy version of VS Code, but in a way that you can integrate that IDE with AI, and you don't need to copy paste whole of your project, whole of your code base to ChatGPT 4 and ask some question, right? So that's one of the feature. And the other one is about Command K. When you install it, you can use Command K, let you edit and write code with the AI. Imagine that you have some part of code. Imagine that I have this. If I'm gonna go for Control K here, Command K, Command K, Control K. So in this case, I'm gonna say, okay, this one, Control K. Actually, let me open it for you first. Cursor IDE. So as you can see, this Cursor IDE. So as you can see, the color get changed, is a little bit more beautiful, and it's kind of same as VS Code, and there is no that much different, right? You cannot feel anything, but there is a difference. Like right now you don't need to copy paste whole of your code base, give it to ChatGPT 4 and ask some question and just try to develop your project using ChatGPT 4 or any other AI. In this case, I'm trying to say to Cursor IDE that, okay, try to get hold of this main file, Control A, Control K, and then okay, editing instruction. Now I can say that read the whole read read the whole code and try to actually, for example, yeah, maintain it and improve it and make it better or whatever. So, and as you can see here, you can choose which model you want Cursor ID to use. I say ChatGPT 4. And how did I do that? I go to the setting first of all. So actually I have to find the setting here. I'm not sure where is it. Yeah, here, setting. Here we have features, we have models. You can just enter your OpenAI key here and then try to just add any model which you want, turn on the model which you want to use. So even though it uses Copilot too, but in this case I'm using ChatGPT 4 model because I believe that it's a lot more better than Copilot, is my opinion. So anyway, when I say that Control K and I select whole of the code right now, simply I didn't copy paste anything. I said read the whole code and try to maintain it, not maintain it, actually maintain it. I don't know I'm writing this correctly or not. My English kind of broke. Maintain it and improve it and make it better. When I do that, I enter, it's actually loading. So what it's gonna do is gonna read whole the file, whole the code line by line, and try to just improve it, maintain it, and then try to, you'll see actually, well, as you can see, it's just reading the whole code like one by one, and then it's trying to maintain and improve it as possible, because some of the code just getting changed, as you can see, some API keys or maybe some functions, methods, or whatever. But you will see at the end when it's just going to generate it, and it's just gonna show you that what it changed in the code and so on. But the cool thing is that I didn't copy paste anything, I didn't paste it in ChatGPT 4, I didn't do anything, I just let my Cursor IDE to do it. And right now it's saying that it's import, I think it just import OS, and then try to actually maintain these, maybe a space here, accept. Yeah, just remove some space, try to just make it better, and try to use actually use OS, and try to use the environment variable instead of API key by itself, right? So that's what I was trying to say. It just improve it and it maintain it, because in a way that if you're gonna put your API keys put your API keys in your script, in your code, without putting it in an environment variable, that's the worst idea ever. Because uh, like sensitive information disclosure, like there are some different vulnerabilities which can happen in the future. You don't have to put any credential in your code, you have to put all the credential in a environment variables. So it just import OS and try to put those inside the environment variable. So anyway, my point was that right now, okay, my point, yeah, my point, I did Control Z, so I come back to the same place. My point was that I can use Cursor first of all for Command K, try to select the code, improve it, or just do anything which I want. And we have Copilot++, it can debug it, you can read the documentation of Cursor, and we have chat. If we go for actually Control L, you can chat anything which you want, select the model, try to mention the documentation, mention the certain website, certain code, certain file, certain folder. It's so cool actually, I really like it. And in this way, I don't have to copy paste anything. I don't have to copy paste whole of my code base and give it to my ChatGPT 4 and explain about everything. No, I don't need to do none of that. I simply can do it using Cursor IDE. And even though you can simply use @ mention any file, any folder, any code, any website, any documentation, even you can add documentation URL here, maybe Python or whatever you want to call it, any documentation which you want, and say even website search, you can do that. You can say that, okay, go find this result for me, what search it. For example, how to add Medium post under paywall via API, search from Google. I say that, and then it's searching from the Medium automation current. This Medium automation is a current folder right now. It's reading it. It's understanding what's the point of asking this question. So when it's reading, it says, okay, according to Medium API documentation, there is no direct way to add post under paywall, but it's trying to explain everything and even giving you example of creating posts from API documentation. But even though, what else you can do? You can simply say here, mention file, for example, main.py. Okay, I say, okay, go read main.py file and then explain whole code. And then I say, okay, go read this file and try to explain whole code for me. It go inside this file, it explain whole code for me. So Python script designed to automate the process of creating Medium posts from YouTube video transcript here, blah blah blah. So even though if I'm gonna go Medium, I can see that, okay, it's explaining correctly. It's saying that it's just going to use YouTube transcript and try to use AI and then try to upload Medium post, and it's explaining completely right and even explaining each line. Even you can just go for more detail. But my point was that there are tons of feature in this Cursor IDE. RDE, it's a lot more better than any other IDE in my opinion, because you can integrate any AI model which you want, and it's a lot more easier. You can just develop any application which you want using AI, and you have to have definitely enough knowledge. But my point was that, so hopefully you will like this tutorial like before. Don't forget to like, subscribe my channel and so on. And this is my channel, Code with Arshia. If you have any other question, let me know. And it's so easy to install. Actually, I forgot to do that. Go for download, and then when you go for download, your Windows, maybe it's not going to let you download because it's unverified download blocked. Click on it, download unverified, give it the permission, and then try to download it. In a sub process is pretty easy, and it's so useful. So this is my channel actually, Code with Arshia. So try to subscribe me. If you have any other question, just comment below. If you want me to record any video about any topic related to programming, especially Python, I'm gonna do it for you. And that's it for now. So I hopefully you learn about Cursor IDE, and you learn why it's so useful, and even I explain some useful feature, and I go to the documentation. I try to read from documentation and just do it for you guys. So hopefully you like it. Even we have an auto debug as well actually. So even if you get error, you get a bug, you can just go for auto debug, and it's just going to debug it for you. If the Cursor IDE need to install any dependencies, if the Cursor IDE need to do something, because actually he has access to whole the code base. So it's so easy to debug, right? So this idea is a lot more better than using ChatGPT 4 directly, because you don't need to copy paste anything. You have this IDE. It's so cool. You can debug. You can just get suggestion code. You can just ask. You don't need to copy paste anything. You can ask from the certain file. You can ask from the certain website, certain documentation, and so on. So even though you can upload any picture which you want, if you have any question, you can mention file, folder, code, website, documentation, URL, links, error, git, and code base. So code base is the whole code base. You're asking from the whole code base of your project. So that's it. Hopefully you like this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe me. See you later. Goodbye.